Your uni, your team. From kick-off to the final whistle. This is the Shock Radio Sports Show.
Yes, we are back for another year. New studio. It's looking really nice, isn't it? How are we, lads?
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Joined by Charlie and Cameron. Big Irons fan, aren't you, by the looks of it?
Big West Ham fan, unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
At the moment.
Yeah, we're not meant to, I support. Well, we're going to be covering everything that's gone on over the past few weeks. We'll cover Salford as they played last night, Formula 1, the big Singapore Grand Prix, the Ryder Cup from a few weeks ago. Great talking points there, and maybe a little bit of the Women's Cricket World Cup. We'll cover in a minute. But if we can, I think we'll have a little bit of a song first, just to get us into the groove. It's a little bit of Mrs. Narcissistic by the Royston Club. As you join us on our Shock Sports Show, we're going to jump straight into it with Salford City. Do you want to fill us in?
Great win for them last night, 3-1 against Stockport. Yes. Obviously, wasn't the best result on the weekend. They lost 2-0 to Grimsby, but they're still doing pretty well in the league. So this might be the year they get promoted, but we'll have to see. Yeah,
they've lost the last two league games. They currently sit 6th in League 2, 19 points, 11 played, 6 wins, 1 draw and 4 losses. Charlie, what more do you want to see from Salford?
I think since Gary Neville, the Beckham, the 92 lot, since they got involved, I think the ambition has to be to go up. I think now that Neville's really getting into it, wanting to put their stamp on the club, I think they've got to start really looking at promotion.
Yeah, we've just looked. It's 7 years. This is the 7th year in League 2, which is a long time.
I know.
You said, Cameron, during the break, they've been close to promotion, but just
they've never cracked it. Yeah.
What have they been missing then?
I feel like there's clearly, they have this vision when the class of 92 came in, and it feels like that momentum's just been lost. It feels almost as though over time, gradually that vision and what they're trying to achieve, it's just that clearly they need a rework. They need to try and push on a bit higher. Since they've broken to League 2, the last few seasons, they've got close to promotion, but they've never quite cracked the playoffs. And they need to try and now find their form and consistency so they can push on.
Yeah, it was a 3-1 win versus League 1 opposition and local rival Stockport County last night in the EFL Trophy. Good win for them, Charlie?
Yeah, pretty good win. I think by the sounds of it, Stockport might have rotated a little bit, and I don't think they were taking it seriously because their ambition is to go up as well. But it's still a good win irrespective of what Stockport did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially against a rival as well. It's always, regardless of the circumstances, it's always good for morale to get a result. Especially, like you said, after 2 back-to-back losses, get back on form, and hopefully they can carry that form over to the league.
Yeah. Carl Robinson, Salford gaffer, is he wrong to play more than a fully strength side in an AFL Trophy game? Because Salford's aims are ultimately our promotion. Stockport didn't. Their aims are promotion as well, and that could be one of the reasons for the 3-1 win. What are your thoughts?
I almost feel as though in a lot of football, I feel like the thing is, I feel like cup football, sometimes, if again, they've had 2 back-to-back losses in the league, they want to get back to form. I think sometimes what you need is to play that full-strength team, get confidence back in the team, so then when it comes back round to the league, hopefully you can carry that form over.
Yeah, we saw last year, we were just speaking about this as well during the break, there was a great flurry of form from about this time last year up until the City, I think it'd be safe to say, thumping in the FA.
It was 8-0, was it?
Yeah, 8-0 in the FA Cup. I went to the press conference that game.
Yeah.
It was in the stadium, which is a tin shed, and it was like -1. So I'm there divering, asking questions in this press conference for them to just lose 8-0. But to be fair, you can't do much against Pep City, can you? No.
Obviously, you're always going to be the underdogs, but you never want to get embarrassed like that.
No. And head rolled would be the wrong phrase. Heads fell off a little bit of a cliff.
Yeah.
After that result in January, we saw the form not be great, but we saw then again in April, the form had another upturn and had them there or thereabouts and promotion hopes. It was a little bit too little too late. What's Carl Robinson got to do this year apart from have luck in the cup for that not to happen again, Charlie?
But I mean, I'm not sure, to be honest, because it depends on how they set up as a club, what their ambitions are as a club. Because it was in the Carabao Cup last year where they got pumped.
FA Cup.
FA Cup. Oh, their ambition is not going to win that. I think last year, after that good run of form, I think their focus would have been the league. And I think City away is just the experience that mattered for them.
I feel as well that I feel like the underlying factor here is consistency. I feel as though the problem is, like you said, they had a great run up until that City game in the FA Cup. Then after that, the heads fell off. And even if they did have a good patch at the end of the league, in a league like the EFL League 2 or any league really in the EFL, it's 46 games in a season. There's got to be a factor of consistency that it's always going to be competitive, trying to get back up. So you've got to want it and you've got to fight for it.
Do you think that maybe the reason they haven't gone up is maybe a lack of ambition from Gary Neville and a lack of investment from the 92 lot? Because you've seen the Wrexham model, they've gone up three back-to-back, and then Birmingham have gone back up. Do you think they've just not invested that little bit that they needed to? Because this 92 was meant to be the Wrexham before Wrexham.
I think they've probably gone down a different route, really. Wrexham, you've seen, they've just chucked a lot of money at it.
Yeah.
Birmingham as well. More money at it.
Too much money.
Yeah. I think they're trying to the academy players. I think that's what they're trying to do. We saw Salford debut a 15-year-old, the youngest ever player in the FA Cup proper last year. I think that's what they're trying to do: debut young players and bed them in, not chuck money at it, which
build properly for the future.
Not properly, because there's no right or wrong way.
There's no right or wrong, but obviously, if you get a good bunch of young players around your team, I feel like that's a sort of mould that long term can help a football club. Because I feel like if you splash loads of cash on players, sure, if you're able to do that, great. But it's not necessarily gonna not having the facilities to be able to build up some good youth players in your team and being able to have consistency into the future. Because obviously, if you have good players, you could lose them very well to another club, a bigger club.
Yeah, no, I do agree. It's a great question. I think we might see them favour a Wrexham or a Birmingham model in the next few years, because promotion's clearly the key hope.
Exactly.
They've been close to it. They've had 7 years now. They've been close to it a couple of times, and they've just not got there. So I think it probably is only a matter of time before the philosophy of this ownership changes from a more youth academy based to a.
We got to get results now.
Yeah, more financially based.
Patience is going to go eventually.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is. But if we just have a moment on Carl Robinson, they've got Chesterfield away at 3 p.m. this Saturday, 6 points off Walsall in first, which is it's a sizable gap at this stage in the season, but not an unbeatable one. What's he got to do there, Cameron?
I think obviously you've got to make sure every game of the season you're up for it, and especially in these crucial sort of games, you've got to make sure you can't allow that gap to get any bigger. 6 points at this stage in the season, like we said, it's overturnable in the long term. Obviously, one of the other teams can drop off in terms of form, or they can go on a good run, but you've got to make sure that you're getting your results in your games so you can close that gap. You can't afford that rift to get bigger.
Charlie, any thoughts?
I think Chesterfield at the weekend, they just come off a 6-2 pummelling by Colchester. Chesterfield have come off a 6-2 pummelling against Colchester, and Paul Cook, the manager, he won't like that one bit. So I think if one response, the Salford have got to be up for it.
Is Paul Cook the bloke with the greatest voice change ever in
Yeah.
the interview?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's that bloke.
Amazing.
I'll be seated looking at socials after the game for interviews. That'll be
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he got him up from the National League a couple of years ago, and they nearly went up again last year, but they fell off a little bit.
Like Salford.
And then
Two clubs in the same boat then.
yeah. They are similar sort of moulds in the
Exactly.
table.
And they're the team, and that's what I'm saying. Where obviously it's just as much obviously when you're playing teams at the very top of the league, but also just teams around you. Them sort of clubs you've got to be looking at and going, we've got to be beating them. If we want to be better than them, if this is the level we want to get to, we've got to win these sorts of games.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that. We've covered Salford City. I think we're going to go to a little bit of a song, and then it'll be the Singapore Grand Prix. A little bit of Sam Fender here on Shock Sports with Will We Talk. We've got a question. It's a big question of the week, and we would like to know, to the listeners at home, what is the best family in sport? And we've asked you to. I'll ask your answers later on in the show, just to bring it back around. But mine, just to link us to what we're going on to next. The Rosbergs, KK and Nico, both Formula One World Drivers' Champions. But if we do move on to the action at Singapore this weekend, we saw George Russell take pole by...
Brilliant.
If my notes are right, 0.007 seconds, which is a bit small, isn't it?
That's tight.
Yeah.
Even for F1, that's
margins.
tight.
Yeah. And there was a little bit of controversy on the opening lap. Norris and Piastri. Cameron, do you want to tell us about that?
Obviously, there's two championship rivals. Obviously, throughout the season, they've still remained good friends, but obviously, it's a running thing. They're both challenging for the championship. Oscar, obviously, on top at the moment. Lando chasing down after about a 20-point gap now. Obviously, the whole papaya rules set has been a running theme this season. And obviously, Lando went for the overtake turn 1 and has had a slight wheel barge with Piastri. And Piastri's, he's not went out, but he's had a graze with the wall, and obviously he lost a position and was never able to recover from it. And it kind of, that was the thing for the rest of the race. He never really managed to get over that.
No, it sort of hampered Piastri, and I think he wasn't very happy that he'd made his teammate had made contact with him. The gap, like you said, 22 points now from the two McLarens. Max just in third on 63, with 6 races left. Can he do it, Charlie? Can he close that gap?
It's possible. I mean, anything's possible in sport.
Especially Max Verstappen.
Yeah, has he won the last few?
Last
four in a row.
So yeah, don't rule him out.
Don't rule him out. Do you know what? I agree. I don't think you can rule him out. And even people say George Russell, who is 99 points now, he won the previous race, can still have an impact.
Oh, that's the thing now is, I was speaking to one of my other friends about this, who's into F1, how it almost seems as though the McLarens the last few races aren't necessarily as dominant as what they have been earlier on in the season. And now other drivers like Max and Russell are coming into the mix. So it's almost as though, in terms of looking at the championship, is there really enough? It's doable, but can Lando get enough of a point swing each race in order to be able to overturn that gap and get the championship? That's the big question.
Yeah, we've seen over the past 2 races the high number of corners, high number of downforce needed. McLaren are excellent in the high-speed corners and keeping their tyres fresh in the warm weather, which is why they were great in Singapore, to be fair to them. Coming up, you've got Qatar, great McLaren track, Costa, Brazil, loads of high-speed corners, warm weather, so it will aid the McLaren. But in saying that, Max Verstappen's also quality there. It was quality in Qatar. Brazil, that drive last year, won in the championship. It was amazing. And where else I mentioned Kota. He's also great in Kota.
Exactly.
I love that circuit as well.
You can never write off Max Verstappen. He's the thing with Max Verstappen, he's got that it factor. And linking back to obviously the whole Oscar and Lando incident, I feel like obviously there's a lot of controversy surrounding that, especially McLaren's handling of it. But I think in a sense it's quite harsh to have a go, in my opinion, at Lando, because you think with Max he's always had that champion killer instinct to go for them overtakes, to have that aggression, and I feel like that's always what Lando has lacked, is that mentality. And I feel like there's almost been a roles reverse now, that Oscar seems to be the one now, obviously now he's on top, almost can he keep his head, because there's been a couple times this season where it almost seems as though he's starting to lose his head a bit, especially in like obviously Britain, even a bit last race, he never really recovered from it after the whole Lando incident.
Yeah, Ted said it on his notebook just after the race. It's about time Lando, and even Piastri, to be fair, showed that real killer instinct. Charlie, do you think it's time that they showed it? Because they're going for a championship here. You can't be friends and nice for all of it, can you? All 24 races.
At the end of the day, you're in it for yourself in top level sport, aren't you? So you've got to do what you can to win, even if it means knocking one of your mates off their perch a little bit.
I do agree.
Especially now that they've got the constructors wrapped up, then it's got to be gloves off. Because at the end of the day, it's really about, it's what Lando did, in a sense. There was no penalty for it. It's a racing incident. It's the only reason I feel like people are looking at it is because of the papaya rules thing. It's the McLaren very much strongly managing things, and hopefully now we'll get to see gloves off a bit more. And Piastri, from his perspective too, he'll be looking at it and going, okay, I've got to be out here for myself now, and I've got to go for this championship if I'm going to win it.
Yeah, I think gloves off is the best phrase to use. The constructors is wrapped up. They're going to be neck and neck. Do we think we're going to see a bit of contact? Because we saw it in Canada and we saw it at Singapore, although it wasn't.
It's been coming close, hasn't it? There's been a few times. I feel like the closest it's happened this season was back in Canada when Lando, obviously, he tried to go for the overtake. It was a silly overtake, and he stuck himself out, and he nearly took Oscar out as well.
He just went to the wrong side.
He went to the wrong side, yeah. But it was I remember watching the race at the time. Up until that point, great racing. Lando looked like he was doing well, and so was Oscar. And then got the wrong side of him, took him out, and then you think 25-point swing. it's a big detriment to your championship. If that hadn't, I know you if but and maybe all day, but if he'd stayed in that race, it would be a matter of a few points now.
Yeah, I do agree. My next question is, do we want to see contact? Because I think McLaren drivers are too nice with each other.
They are.
Like you said, Charlie, you've got to at some point go, this is for me. It's not for... I'm not being nice with the other bloke to win it. I'm trying to win it myself. So do you think contact's inevitable, or do you want to see it?
I think it's inevitable, but I'm not an F1 fan, but it feels like a bit of etiquette to make sure you don't hit each other. So I'm not sure. I don't want to see it, but I mean, for the spectacle itself, it would be quite good.
It would. Entertainment factor.
Yeah. You think back in 21, where you think, obviously, I get separate teams, Verstappen, Hamilton, there was a lot of incidents and a lot of drama, and obviously, I feel like that's the only thing this championship out, it's been the closest one we've had since then, really, but because of the McLaren and the Papaya rules, obviously, race hard but fair, no contact, and that's where the controversy comes in. He has made contact with him, it might be slightly unethical, and sometimes you've got to have a bit of that dark arts within you to be able to go and get ahead. That's what Max has always specialised at. And if it was Max making that move, sure, he might have got criticism, but that's what a world champion has got to do.
Where does the contact in Singapore lie then for you? Because you said race hard but fair. Is it racing hard?
It's definitely racing hard. I think, obviously, Lando, Singapore Turn 1 is a very hard place. Singapore in general is a hard track to overtake on. And I feel as though if he was going to get the overtake on Oscar, which he needed to do, it was going to have to happen at the start. He had to do it, and he sent it, and he's got it, and nothing was done about it. Obviously, Piastri not happy because, it's been a running theme that the McLaren team, Zach Brown, have obviously, typically this season, of when, you've got to swap around, or you've got to do this. But I knew they was never going to swap around, because if they'd have swapped around, they could have done it later in the race, but they never had the chance. At the start, you at risk letting other drivers overtake you, and it's too big of a risk. They're not going to allow that.
Yeah, and I've got to agree. I think it's been too safe so far in the season for McLaren, but they're safe to prioritise the constructors, which is now all wrapped up. Gloves will be off, I think, going into Qatar in a week's time. That's the Formula 1 covered for Singapore. We're going to go through a few more tunes, and then we'll get back with something that you'll love, which is the Ryder Cup.
Get into it.
So we can get a few more songs. That'd be ace. From the powers that be, behind the glass wall. Maybe.
Got yourself again.
Oh. Maybe.
Boy, wait.
Not sure.
What's your prediction for the US?
The US, I like
USGP.
that. Go on. I like that improvisation.
Oh, I reckon I'm a Lando fan. I personally hope he wins it, but I can't see it. I feel like I can see Verstappen again. Max, you can never write Max Verstappen off. In that car, nobody else has been able to cope in that car.
Your uni, your team. This is the Shock Radio Sports Show.
Yes, a little bit of stereophonics as I frantically get my notes ready, because I was just having a good minute there. We're going to move on to a little bit of the Ryder Cup, which is your bread and butter, Charlie.
Yeah.
Do you want to just fill us in? Just give us your spiel, and then we'll go from there.
It was a feisty one in America, especially the New York day. Europe won it. It was the closest one since 2012, I believe. Yeah, since 2012, which is crazy to think after the first 2 days. But it ends up being a lot closer than what we thought it should have been. But I think it was, I don't want to say it was marred by the second day and all the abuse that Alex McElroy got, but it was a big talking point that maybe shouldn't have overshadowed what was happening on the golf course.
Yeah, the first day, England, Europe, it's easy to do, isn't it? First day, Europe battered America in the doubles. Yeah. They had an 11 and a quarter to 4 and a quarter lead going into the final day.
Yeah, it's the biggest ever.
Yeah, biggest ever?
In the going into the last day, it's the biggest ever.
Yeah, and you think they come away with the biggest ever win? No, that's not what happened, is it? It's just not what happened.
No, it's a lot closer than what it should have been, and at the end we were relying on draws essentially in the
singles.
Game. Yeah.
In the singles.
Yeah.
The only one to win their single and get the full point was Ludwig Aberg.
Yeah.
They were all halves. Great pub quiz question.
Yeah.
Pub quiz.
Superb question.
Yeah. Would it be safe to say England crumbled in the singles?
I'm not sure, because a lot of people were saying going into the Ryder Cup, the US have better individual players, but as a team, Europe were better. And I think that might have shown throughout the Cup.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
Well, I'm happy for Tommy Fleetwood, obviously, Everton fan. He's a big Everton fan himself, so... he also believe he got the most holes, didn't he?
He won the most points individually, if you want to rank
4.
it like that.
He got 4, didn't he?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
4.
But obviously, like you said, considering it was it almost looked like it was going to be a complete wipeout to begin with, for it to end up so close was quite surprising.
Yeah. I had a bit of it on the crowd. That was the major talking point. You mentioned it on Saturday. Do you want to just fill us in on that?
It's, well, the Americans, they blamed it on drink, but you know that out there it's not as bad as it is here. Yeah, it's just way too much abuse. I think at the end of day 2, Rory McIlroy and his wife got a cup of drink thrown at them. And it's just non-stop verbal abuse. In golf etiquette, you're meant to stay quiet when someone's playing their shot. The Americans didn't follow that at all. And, you know, the slightest little millimetre in golf and the ball changed direction completely.
Is there anything that could have been done to I say change, stop the abuse and change the reaction of the American crowd? Or was it just, this is a home tournament for them, we're going to make it as hostile and as hard as we can for you so you can't win?
I think that is part of it, but we saw throughout the Cup, the last day, the Americans actually started supporting the American team, and look how well they did. First 2 days, they were abusive to the Europe players, and the Europe players thrived with it.
Do you have a standout, Charlie, from the whole tournament? Like we said, Cameron, you mentioned Tommy Fleetwood. Winning 4 holes, 4 points, sorry, across all the holes.
I've got to go Justin Rose with his putting. He's, what, 45 years old? And his putting was immense.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Do you have one, Cameron?
Again, I'd have to say Tommy Fleetwood. He's star man. He's been doing fantastic recently. He's been in great form, and yeah, I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, just a point on Justin Rose as well. Losing the Masters on the shootout against McIlroy, to come back and play brilliantly again in America, it was great to see, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
And the fact that he wasn't afraid of giving it to the Americans as well, giving it to them back after Bryson DeChambeau and his, I've forgotten the word. It was Bryson DeChambeau's team.
Antics?
It was while Justin Rose was putting, part of his team, they walked
Did he
in
walk?
front.
Yeah.
He walked slightly in his vision, and that can affect your putting because you're trying to read the green. Yeah. And Justin Rose wasn't happy, so it was good to see him giving it back a little bit.
Is it right to say that Gianfranco Zola was one of the caddies?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, he was, yeah.
How's he fallen into that gig?
I don't know, but it'd be quite a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ex-Premier League forward for Chelsea. That's right, isn't it? He's
Yeah.
done a bit of punditry, a bit of managing, and he just finds himself being a caddy on one of the
You
greats.
tend to see that a lot in sports like golf, as well. It's similar again, linking back with like F1, them sorts of sports. You see a lot of random people popping up in and around the sport. It's very popular.
Isn't McIlroy's caddy his best friend from home?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. The only caddy that I knew was Zola.
Zola.
Which, I mean, I'd love to do that.
Yeah. Is it your dream job? Oh my God, I can't speak. Is it your dream job in golf to be a caddy?
Apart from a player, if you love playing golf, you always want to be a player. But if not, then even the golf buggy driver, that'd be a good one because there's no pressure on you at all.
Should we just touch on caddies? Because I think it's an interesting point that someone who doesn't play the sport adds so much importance to the person who plays the sport.
Yeah.
They're not a manager, but they're as close as, aren't they?
Yeah, they're vital.
What is it that they exactly do, for those that don't know?
They'll just help the player with which club to use, whether it's a 7-iron or a 6-iron, or even like a 50-degree wedge or something like that. They'll help you read the green, because you might see one thing, they might see the complete opposite. So it's finding that balance between, no, it is actually this. And they're just there for support as well, because as soon as one shot goes wrong, it could all fall apart. So they're there for support as much as anything.
And I think it's important as well to obviously, especially in these high-level sports, having somebody there in your corner just to, like you said, you can very easily lose your head when things go wrong. It can help to have another calm perspective there to be able to help ground you and to help get back to where you need to be when you need it.
Yeah.
And it's one of them had to hold back Shane Lowry from the US crowds as well.
Yeah.
So they're there for that as well.
Wild.
Yeah, it's a very lonely sport. Like you said, you miss one shot, easy to spiral, easy to get out of control and just see where it leads you. Yeah.
To be fair to him, I think Bryson DeChambeau on the last day, I think he was 4 down in the singles, and he managed to put it back to level. So fair play to him.
That's good
Done
going.
really well.
Yeah. Well, where would the caddy help with that then? Just the encouragement, the extra information on the holes.
Yeah, I think I think mostly the encouragement, because these golf players, they're at the highest level. They know what they're doing. They know each shot. Yeah, I think just for support more than anything.
You think in other sports, say like boxing, you have your corner man who, even though obviously these people are elite, but having that other voice, that experienced voice, being able to help guide you a bit, especially when you're so focused in, having a bit of a wider perspective on things can really help you to get to where you need to be.
Yes, perfect. The next Ryder Cup is in 2027, if I'm not mistaken. What changes would you make to the current European team? Because obviously, like you mentioned, Justin Rose, 45 years old, old for a professional sports person, not in terms of life. I'm not calling him old. No offense, Justin, if you're listening. What changes would you make to the team, if any?
It's hard to tell because you don't know how certain golf players will be playing in 2 years. There were some shouts that Justin Rose should be the next captain, but I think after how the current one has done, I don't think he should really drive to change that anytime soon. But no, I think it's in Ireland, so maybe a couple of Irish players in there. I think Shane Lowry, he's Irish, he should stay in there. Even if he's not playing as well, the Irish crowd will really get behind him.
Shane Lowry, I saw an interview with the BBC, he was really emotional.
Yeah.
And the interview was only 3 minutes long, and he must have only spoke for a minute, because he was overwhelmed with success, it's fair to say, and it was lovely to watch. And I think in with a home crowd behind him especially, that'd be great.
Yeah, should be good.
Yeah. Perfect. We've covered the Ryder Cup. We'll just jump to a few more songs, and then we'll cap up with just a little recap of the Premier League. A little bit of Jackie Down the Line by Fontaine's DC, Amanda I Saw over the summer, but less about me and more about our guests. I'm going to ask you, I asked you a question before. What's the best family in sport? I'd like your answers to that, please, gentlemen.
I was an iron between two. My two ones were, I know it's sort of cheating, the Williams sisters, the Klitschko's, because I think, especially say with like the Williams, you've never seen a family like that dominate a sport for so long, so consistently. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think with both of them, you can draw parallels because it's at the same time. Like, my example was a different generation.
Yeah.
I'm sure yours is a different generation as well, Charlie. Yeah.
I was stuck between a few. There's obviously the Cliverts.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. 3 of them scoring at the weekend.
Yes, I saw that.
And then
is
their dad's Patrick Clivert,
yeah,
a legend of the game. But I'm a West Ham fan, so I've got to go with a couple of West Ham ones. There's Alfie Martin, David Martin. That performance away at Chelsea, the 1-0 win, when Aaron Cresswell scored. Irons. And then...
God. He's not coming back again. He's not coming back again.
And then there's a Potts. Dan Potts and Freddie Potts. No, not Dan Potts, Steve Potts. And Freddie Potts.
I'm sorry. They're I don't know who they are. They're all lost to me.
To be fair, Freddie Potts, he's only just come through. This is his first season.
Has he played for the first team so far?
He's played a couple of games. Graham Potter. He played him all through pre-season, then didn't play him in the league. Yeah. So he's coming through the ranks under Nuno.
If we just quickly hop across London, we're going to find ourselves with Chelsea. Sworn enemies. But they did beat Liverpool, league leaders, at the weekend 2-1. It was a great game. I was working when it was on, but I didn't see it. What do we think of that?
I think I've been thinking it all season. Obviously, it was a great game. I think on the Liverpool end of things, I feel like it feels as though now for Liverpool that cracks are starting to show, and I feel like it's not even a case of they're only just starting to show. I feel like they was always there, because has there really been? Correct me if I'm not. Has there really been a performance this season where Liverpool have clearly won? I couldn't really say one.
I think I'm biased on this, but I would also say no.
Same.
As a United fan, I would say no, but I'm not really in a position to comment because people in glass houses and all the rest.
Yeah.
I think the only time this season I've been convinced by Liverpool is the first half against Everton, and I think they reverted to the team from last season, and they all knew what they're doing, and then second half it dropped off.
I felt like obviously I might sound biased. I am an Everton fan, but the first 30-40 minutes until the second goal was scored, we was completely outclassed, outplayed. I felt though after that Liverpool, they kind of just stepped off the gas. They looked quite sloppy, especially during the second half, and they let Everton back into the game. And I felt as though Liverpool of last season or of the past wouldn't have done that. And the amount of times this season they've relied on late goals to get them through. They got obviously 5 from 5 in the first 5 Prem games, but really on the run of play, the cracks were always there. If that had them 5 margins had went the other way, would we really be? We would have been having this conversation a lot earlier than we already are now.
I think going back to the Chelsea game, I think Chelsea's midfield won in the game.
Definitely.
Isaido and Enzo are probably one of the best in the league.
What about the idea to play Gusto in midfield? Because on Twitter before the game, that wasn't one that was
Well,
really taken to very well.
He's done it with Reece James, so I think he was trying it with Gusto, and it paid off in the end, really, didn't it?
Yeah, doesn't matter who you play well,
Yeah.
as long as you win.
Yeah,
It's
as
like
long as you
Liverpool.
win.
Yeah.
Liverpool can score at any time of the game they want. They
Yeah.
can play how badly they want. As long as they win, no one's bothered.
But I feel that the problem is with that though is you can only rely on Rigel luck for so long.
Exactly.
I feel, and that's. I was having this conversation a couple of weeks ago before this has happened. I've said the problem is you can only rely purely on getting them late goals and looks. Sure, it does take mentality and it does take fight and grit, but eventually there was going to come a point if them performances don't improve, and they haven't, then eventually they're going to start dropping points and they're going to end up in the position they are now.
Yeah, I do agree. It was said in Sky this week that they're a team in transition. Can you say that a team in transition breaks a transfer record twice and spends the most anyone's ever spent in a summer? Charlie, can you say that?
You can, in the sense that it's difficult, because if you're saying Liverpool are in transition, I think you're saying everyone's in transition, because every team's changing every summer, apart from maybe Liverpool the season before. But I feel it feels like a lazy excuse.
Yeah, I agree.
It does feel like an excuse. You can't have excuses when you've spent however much money, about 150 million on Isak, and stuff like that. And Wirtz hasn't been very good, but obviously it was always going to take time to gel. When they had the team that did so well last season, that it was going to take time for these players to fit in.
You mentioned it before then, and you just mentioned it. The team of last season, they bought no one. That was Klopp's team. Would that be safe to say?
Yeah.
Would it be safe to say that they didn't need to spend 600 million this summer? They just needed a few changes, and it just needed fine tuning and to be in a better position than where they are now. Would
I
that
say
be
so.
safe to say?
I think so as well. I think Isak, they've got Ekatike, they didn't need Isak. I think they should have just gone early with Gohe. If they ever pay 5 million, they overpay 5 million. It's not going to hurt a club like Liverpool.
No. Perfect. We are coming to the end. It's been great. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Cameron.
Thank you.
You've
Thank
been
you.
superb on the first one back in the brand new studios. I hope you've liked them. You can find everything we do live on YouTube over at Shock TV.